2 with our friend Patrick. What is going on, Grant?
What's going on, Quinn? And everyone. I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah, talk to the people.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for joining. I know this is, everyone's supposed to be getting fucked up tonight, right? Isn't tonight
What?
the night to get fucked up?
What are you talking
You go
about?
back, you visit your hometown.
Yeah, you visit your hometown, you go out on the night before Thanksgiving. I thought that was a thing.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
You never heard of this, Cali boy?
No, Cali boy. I'm not going home, so
That's pretty sad.
I don't think I've ever gone home for Thanksgiving. Just part of because I'd rather go home for Christmas. Thanksgiving's never been a big.
I think a lot of people too.
And you only get 2 days off.
Mm-hmm.
Or most people I'd say you only get 1 or even reduced hours.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of Black Friday day after Thanksgiving. It's not all around, but yeah, it's been a minute. So are you getting messed up tonight, Grant? Is that your point?
No. I'm just I'm thanking everyone for watching because they're taking time out of their getting fucked up time.
Yeah,
to watch
especially the
us.
live listeners. It's always-
It's weird because it's like I've talked to StreamYard about it because it's like every week our view counter gets stuck on 0 and it doesn't change. And I'm like, StreamYard, like, you got to update the view count and people are watching, but
There are a lot of bugs.
A lot of bugs. Well, speaking of 0 viewers or listeners too, I remember I was telling you, Grant, that I had a little. I don't know if it's much of a surprise, but a tidbit because I was getting curious about things. And I think if you remember in our last podcast episode, we rolled this Before Sunset, and we were getting really confused because there was a previous movie called Before Sunrise, but there's also a movie just called Sunrise. And we knew in our heads that we have reviewed and talked about Sunrise, but did
you do some investigation?
I did some investigation because it's not on our website. We have 100 couple episodes, and it's not there. And it's somewhere in the vault. And I knew it had to be somewhere, right? I mean, we know we reviewed it.
Mm-hmm.
And long story short, I mean, I spent a long time finding these things. Usually I'm pretty good about keeping everything organized. Especially things that are in the vault, these, because if you think back, where did these episodes go, Grant? It's a little pop quiz. How did we record them? Where did we push them out to?
Oh, Skype. I know we recorded them on Skype. We pushed them out. I don't know. Do we have a link? The Skype link?
I think you got most of it. It was on Skype. I don't think they went anywhere.
They're on our Skype Cloud account.
There's no Skype Cloud, but they were recorded in full, like MP4s. That through the thanks of Celia, and I found some things on my end. I did find everything in the vault, and it was kind of mind blowing to watch because it's really. We both have like wired like headphones. It's all like staticky and like shitty.
But we reviewed Sunrise.
That was, I don't know, episode 4 or 5 or I don't even remember. But it is there, so you can check out the Patreon and maybe you'll get access to that in the future.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate you did that.
Yeah, it's like 6 or 7 episodes because I thought I didn't even have it.
It's on your hard drive?
I have it on a hard drive now, yes.
What do you mean now? Where was it before?
It was on a hard drive mixed with some cloud stuff. Everything's in a good place now. It's all tidy.
It's organized. It's in the vault.
It's in the vault.
It was supposed to be in the vault, but it's half in the
messy.
vault. Half in, half out.
But this is another trivia pop quiz. But before we did the movies, kind of just riffed on topics, right? Kind of Joe Rogan-esque. And I wanted to ask you, Grant, if you remember the very first topic or question that you asked me. Maybe Pat, if you have any ideas.
You gotta give me a hint. very first question.
Okay, I'll give you guys both a hint. It involves music.
Oh, like, Yay, maybe? Or
Nope.
was it Kanye West?
Nope.
Brockhampton?
Nope. Another.
Eminem.
There we go. It was. What do you
Kamikaze.
think? Yeah. What do you think about
Oh.
Eminem's new album, Quinn?
Kamikaze.
Said. I don't. I didn't continue watching, but I was like, damn, that was the first question.
That's funny.
So
Well, now it's
archived.
our non-Patreon users can see, and they have, if you, for your trivia, for your G&Q trivia, the first question asked on G&Q was,
What do you
what do
think
you
of
think
Eminem's
of
new
the
album?
Eminem's new album?
I think
What
I
was the
derailed
answer?
you. I think I went. I said, wait, Grant, like, because then we went into our little sponsor thing. I said, wait, Grant, I want to thank our sponsors.
Did
blah,
we
blah,
ever
blah.
talk about the album?
I think so. I didn't make it that
Okay.
far. I was just like very glad I found these files. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. What's up with you, Grant?
Well, I think I think I played a part in the 3-week delay. I think Patrick did as well. You know.
So everyone
we
except
all
for
play
me.
our
No, I'm
roles.
just playing.
Yeah, everyone except for you. I have been not enjoying my job, so I put in my 2 weeks on Monday,
Oh shit.
and I don't have something immediately lined up. I'm going to take the holidays off. I'm going to take my time. I might leave consulting as an industry, and I want to be cognizant and take my time of my next steps in my career and life. So I'm going to really sit with it and take, I'm the whole month of December off for sure. And we'll see where that lands me.
Damn.
Making the move to industry.
Yeah, I will see. I don't know. I like, honestly, like, there's some places, like, one place I'm looking at, it's consulting, and it's like, if this doesn't work out, like, then I do leave consulting. But the more I think about it, it's like, I think I was, without saying too much, I was just frustrated with my current job, and it really is not what I kind of thought it was going to be going in. So it was just kind of, expectations weren't met. Not really a fault of anyone, and I'm looking for a place that meets my expectations.
Damn, dude. That's
Yeah, so I'm unemployed, and it's like, the way it worked out, they're like, so when's your last day? And like, I'm like, 2 weeks. Should I like do it till like Wednesday, or should I just like end this Friday, next Friday, and just kind of like take the holiday in with the 2 weeks? I was like, I'll do
take
that. So I only got 5 more days.
Damn, dude. That's pretty wild.
That is pretty wild.
One fun thing about doing that I experienced as well, I was in a similar situation a few years ago, is the wonderful conversations you're going to have at Thanksgiving or Christmas where you tell people, hey, I'm leaving my job. And then they say, oh, where are you going next? You go, I
don't know.
I don't have that figured out yet. They go, huh?
Yeah, my parents were like, I have not, I've jumped to jobs probably too much, but because of that, like, I've known, like, it's been so easy to get a job as Salesforce, like doing Salesforce and doing what I do. So like, my parents are worried, that I don't have something lined up, and it's funny because like my birthday just passed, so like now I do need insurance. Like, it would. It's not that big of a deal though, because you got like Cobra
sort of
so
shit.
like, but I could use Cobra with my parents' insurance, and you can do it retroactively for 45 days. So like, by 45 days I'll have another job, so it shouldn't be a big issue. But if it was, I don't know if I'd have this opportunity, like a year from now.
Yeah.
Like, I think you still can do Cobra.
You can still do it. Yeah.
But anyways, Yeah, it's
Patreon
I mean, I already turned
price is
my
going up.
You put your LinkedIn. Yeah.
Do you know who the
You put
real
your
loser here
LinkedIn
is?
like looking for work on, and like I mean, I already got like many like. I did that Monday afternoon. I already got
People
like
start
7 people like trying to set up times to talk.
Who's the loser, Pat?
Casey's gonna get hit with that price increase on rent January
Yeah,
1st.
landlord leech coming in.
I think that's
Times are
legal.
tough, Casey.
Bro, that ain't me, man.
Yeah.
Imagine your landlord just messaging you and being like,
They're like,
"Yo, dude, I'm like
wasn't
going through
feeling
a
it."
rough patch. Like, I gotta increase your rent a little bit."
Yeah, I noticed you're way below the market rate, so I just made an adjustment for you. So yeah, just your new rate. It's in
Let
the
me know
contract.
if that doesn't work. We'll work something out for sure. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll take care of you.
damn, dude. Well, I'm sure we'll hear more updates.
Yeah.
And best of luck, Grant. It's not the end of the world.
No,
chapter.
It's not. It's a
You're
new
not
chapter.
gonna-
It's fine.
Yeah. Well, professional podcaster Grant, what are we talking about today?
Today, so we are talking about Before Sunset, and since we kind of had a gap, and I think kind of because of the way Before Sunset ends, is kind of, I don't want to call it a cliffhanger, but just not much resolution. We were all inspired to watch the final piece of the trilogy, which is Before Midnight. My first question would be to Pat is, did you watch the full trilogy? Did you watch Before Sunrise?
I watched all
Okay.
3. 3-week break, 3 movies. I'm on
Easy.
my regimen.
That would be weird if you just did sunset at midnight
Yeah,
and be
at
like,
midnight.
I keep talking about this train thing.
don't really understand.
Just watch Shrek 3 and 4.
Yeah, what's the connection to Paris here?
Did they meet each other on vacation?
Before Sunset. So, it's been a while. Did you rewatch Before Sunrise, Quinn? Or you just watch Sunset Midnight?
No, I watched them all. Yeah, we had a lot of time off. Yeah, I watched everything.
Okay.
So everything's pretty fresh. I think when we did review Before Sunrise, I think we enjoyed it. I think it got some overs, but it is a pretty high score. So, yeah, I watched them all.
I think Before Sunset did do a good job of like introducing the viewer who hadn't seen the first movie. Like, I was picking up stuff. I was like, I know what happens, but I forget a little bit, and they did give me like things that I was like, oh yeah.
So you did not watch it?
I did not watch
Okay.
Before Sunrise. I just watched the second two. But I mean, I have seen Before Sunrise. But you know, like the movies, I think are known for being unique and like real. You know, like the movies really, it's all dialogue. It's literally all the movies are all dialogue, and they're all almost stream of conscious, just like hanging out, you know. And there's like pieces of philosophy in there, and it's like, but it's like a slice of life, you know. And you get a look into these people's lives for 24 hours or less. And yeah, I thought before, I guess we can talk, I don't know if we want to talk about the trilogy or we want to talk about, let's talk about the films split up first. Before Sunset, I thought that was just as good. Maybe a little weaker than Before Sunrise, like when I saw it. The end was a little abrupt for me, but still the philosophy and the stream of conscious, and like it was so real. So it was definitely an enjoyable watch for me. What do you guys think about like Before Sunset specifically?
So for Before Sunset, I think I'm kind of in line with what you were saying. So I watched Before Sunrise, and I thought it was phenomenal. It's like it hits on a lot of good notes. There are very cool elements of conversations that and ideas, because when like Jesse's kind of spitballing, and he's just kind of making up things and scenarios. And you really think about that, and there are thoughts that I've never had before. They're just very good, like, conversation starters and thought experiments. And that's intertwined with, I don't have any specific examples, but there are, like, things that he mentions, and then she kind of shuts down, or maybe he shuts down something, but a very natural conversation, like you're on a first date. So you kind of try and stir something up, and it's like, oh, no. Okay, let's talk about something else.
You know, now that you mention this, it kind of reminds me of When Harry Met Sally. You know, the way, like, I mean, that whole premise of that film is like from the beginning, she shuts down everything, and he's kind of like a cocky asshole, right? Like, and you saying that just kind of brought that up in my head, you know?
You need the guy to...
Like first date kind of thing.
Yeah, and some things land and some things don't, and it all seems pretty natural. I liked Before Sunset, but I don't think those types of conversations were as strong. They kind of seemed more plain or boring, or, I mean, it wasn't boring, but with Before Sunrise, I really thought, like, oh, wow, like that's kind of cool to think about. And
isn't that a reflection though of like their
getting
stage
older?
in life? Yeah, right. So like, and maybe you're like seeing also like like in terms of like relatability, we probably all relate to Before Sunrise the most right now in our life. But like, yeah, I thought they were like being awkward, and they were like kind of polite, but they were also like more professional, and like, you know, it took so long for them to even bring up like their significant others, which was interesting. But I thought you're not talking about romance. Like you've kind of shut that side out of you, or grown out of that. You know, it's less normal for you to be 35 and talk to like more or less like a stranger, and like start being vulnerable and being romantic and thinking about philosophy. Like, feel like life stomps that out of you by at that point a little bit.
Yeah, they were guarded and didn't really want to engage, but they were still kind of curious, still drawn to each other, still like wanted to be there, but they weren't sure what to do when they kind of were there, you know?
Yeah.
And there was an interesting comparison of scenes in Before Sunrise and Before Sunset, and it was like cuts from the cab when they were driving. So like one when they were going back to her apartment in Before Sunset, and Before Sunrise probably like going to the bar or something, like just and it was the first time it was him awkwardly trying to like play with her hair but like pulling his hand back, and the second one it was her when he opened up about his relationship, she reached over and like almost touched his head and like tried to comfort him, but then ultimately just kind of pulled away. I don't know, I just thought it was
that was
kind
in
of like
Sunrise?
It was in
Sunset.
both. They switched.
Well, I mean, which
Oh.
they're both doing the same actions in both movies, or one's happening in the other?
He pulls away in the first movie, Sunrise, and then she pulls away in Sunset.
Okay.
So they like kind of role reverse, and it's literally the exact same scene. It's very interesting. It's kind of cool. I just saw this little gif of them like side by side. And I don't really know what it means that like they switched, but it was just kind of like an interesting observation that like he was like going after her in the first movie, but was kind of guarded. And the second movie, she was obviously pursuing him. Showed up at the book review, and then, but still like unsure and kind of guarded.
Can you imagine that at book review? Like, you're talking to you're BSing with those people, and then you see that girl from 9 years ago. Like,
It's interesting too, because like the way I think the movies handle the meta-ness of it, because of the book, you know, the book's a telling of their first encounter, and we've kind of read that book, you know, in a way, or we've experienced that first encounter with them. So the way, you know, they're referencing and romanticizing about their first encounter, and we kind of saw it in a romanticized way. And I don't know, I thought it was done well, and it never felt like it like drew you out of it. Like the guy's just he's an author, and I don't know,
It was super
It was
well
good.
done.
It was good. I thought, yeah, like the way we're talking about before sunset. I think, it's just as good. I think as before sunrise, right? Because it is like they're capturing exactly like where they would have been. Because I know what you said, Patrick, is like they both want to be vulnerable, but it's weird. Like
It doesn't feel good to watch.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
first one
yeah,
is
you have a wife
easy,
and
it's
kids.
pleasurable.
You're talking to-
yeah. And they're
It's-
both like awkward, and they're like, you never want to be like, oh my god, like I'm here, like
Rooting for the protagonist.
yeah, and like she would make comments like it's funny because like at the beginning of the movie, you'd see this a lot in the movies where it'd be like at the beginning she would ask a question being like, oh, like so like that book's like about me, and like how did you actually like did it actually represent like me, and then he'll be like, no, like I totally like brush it off, or like she'd be like, oh, did you write that so like I talked to you, and then he'd be like, no, at the beginning of the movie, and then by the end they're vulnerable with each other enough for him to be like, yeah, of course I wrote this, like for that possibility, or like when she said the first time they met they didn't have sex, and then by the end of them, like, but it's they're everyone's guarded, and they were able to break each other down and become vulnerable. And I think the first movie, the second, potentially the third, but that one I think deserves a different discussion, a separate discussion.
Yeah, and even to continue the vulnerability, she flips the script showing a creation of hers, the little waltz song.
Yeah.
It's written for him, about their experience. Kind of letting him in and kind of giving him that validation that he's kind of feeling his way. Like, yeah, she showed up. Yeah, she's here, but like, what does it mean?
That cement that actually, that's a really good point. That's why it ended there, right?
Yep.
Like, it was like, her being vulnerable.
Yeah,
telling
he
me
wrote a
that's-
book professing the love, and then
How did
that's all
you
we
guys
needed.
have to remind me? How did Sunrise end? Like, what was the last scene? Do you guys remember?
It was them kissing outside the train when she left, and then it was kind of like cutscenes of like him leaving and her leaving.
Yeah,
Okay.
the whole movie they said, let's just make this our one night together. We're not gonna like exchange phone numbers or anything because we'll just write each other occasionally until it dies. But then he has a change of heart at the very end of Before Sunrise, and he says, "Hey, forget all that. Oh my God! All right, I'll meet you in a year. No, 6 months from now at this train station. Okay?" And she says, "Yeah, okay. I love yeah all that."
And she doesn't show up, but he does.
She doesn't show up.
Because her grandmother dies or whatever.
She keeps those pictures of her, which I don't know if. I mean, they're
Just mental pictures.
no. The pictures of the
There's a
grandma
picture of her grandmother. Yeah.
in her apartment,
Oh, right.
which is like I don't know if that's her. I don't know if it's showing that she has a strong connection to her grandma, or like she's replacing these feelings of missing out, of regret, with just
Being like this,
being
I couldn't.
my grandma.
There's no
It's my
way I
grandma.
could have made. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no way I
Family.
could have made that. I
Yeah.
couldn't make. There's no way I could have made that. Trying
Like,
to
it's not my fault.
justify her regret or something.
right.
Yeah. Mhm.
Which I
That's-
mean, I'm
I
fine
think
with
it's
as a
probably
viewer
both.
being
Yeah.
ambiguous.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just want to. It did not feel good to watch the second movie. I felt.
Dude.
I got like secondhand guilt.
I think
Just
this-
like.
I think it was a good transition to the third. I thought the third was like really hard to watch. You're just like, fuck, dude, so uncomfortable.
She's so mean to him.
She's so mean.
All right, yeah, you want to start talking about the third? We all good?
Crazy
Do we
feminist.
want to do? How do we want to do this? Discussion.
Yeah, I'll do discussion.
Over, under,
discussion.
over, under? Okay.
Could be like some special time or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But the
do.
thing is
well,
the,
let's like cross that bridge when we get there. You know?
Yeah, when it's just about that time.
Yeah. It's
So before
when we get
midnight,
there.
the final movie, and I don't
Before
think there's
midnight.
going to be a fourth. Just but
Although some people think there is going to be.
there's no need. I don't.
This was taking place how many 9 more years
9
later?
more years. Yep.
They have kids together. He left his wife
There's another
and
book.
they live in. There's another book. There's two other
Couple
books
more
actually.
books, yeah.
There's one more book about her, one more book not about her, and they live in Paris and they're on vacation in Greece. And yeah, dude, it's like it's everything that like I mean, it's like reminding you of like I don't know, like you watch your parents
Your
or other
parents.
parents like are you know like the thing that made me like they seem pretty good until like that dinner scene and she's like airing their relationship in front of everyone. And I'm like, this I like hate you, you know, like I hate you. This is so hard, you know. And I'd be curious with you guys. I don't know if you have watched these movies with your significant others. I did not. Did you guys?
I did.
Okay, I'm curious, like, because I think you said at the beginning, Quinn, like, or no, you said Pat, like, Celine's so mean. Like,
Yeah.
she's so mean. Like, is that a guy take?
No,
Or
Emily thought she was mean too.
yeah, okay, cool. I didn't know. Like, I thought she was really. It was like, how could you take her? She's being so mean and rude, like, and just bitter and unempathetic and very one-sided. Like, I felt like a lot of the times he would like step in and step into her shoes, and I felt like she did that like not once.
No, how can you not be sympathetic that like you're going through some pain as you send your son across the Atlantic Ocean back to your ex-wife who you don't like, doesn't treat the son well. And like, you know, there's just like some feelings of abandonment, you know, that you want to process and you want to explore.
I don't know if we thought anyone was more mean. Celia, did you think Jesse or Celine was more mean? Or do you think they're equally the same? The girl is more mean. All right, you heard it here first. But in my opinion, I
Everyone
might
agrees.
agree with that. But I also think like she's more practical or more realistic in the sense that yeah, Jesse's trying to brainstorm. Well, how can I be closer to my son? I'm trying to solve this problem. Where really the only solutions are stay in Paris or go back to the United States. And she does not want to go back to the United States. And
Yeah.
it's dangerous to even start talking about that because you might get convinced or persuaded into doing that in some way. And it's just tough for both of them because it's like she missed the train station. Then that led to him having a kid with a woman he didn't like. And then he met her later because she showed up at the coffee store. And then that made him leave his wife. And now it just, these things pile onto each other.
Yeah, I feel like her personality, and he obviously like loves her regardless of her personality, but like she wants something. I don't know. She kind of ejects pretty quick, I think. Like in the second movie, we saw her wanting to leave the cab, and it's been a minute since I watched, but before Sunrise, but I don't know if she tried to leave at a point in that film. But I mean, she's like uncomfortable and she tries to leave, and it's like, I don't know if are they the same age?
Yeah, roughly.
Roughly.
Okay.
I'd say.
Like I thought her perspective. I thought she was pretty selfish at most points in Before Midnight. Yeah.
Even just rejecting the gift from the other couple, that's mean. You know,
Yeah,
saying that
yeah.
like I hate hotel rooms, couples massages are creepy, it's all orchestrated.
Yeah.
This is awful. But it's like a romantic night in paradise without your kids because some couple that you don't really know wants to give you a night away
Wait, why didn't she want to go to the hotel? I don't know.
because she doesn't like hotels.
Is that what she said?
It's like a little toddler stamping her feet.
Yeah, she sounds like she's very, and it's also like I thought he oftentimes really tried to be in the present. You know, like I think he was like, okay, let's try to be like attuned with us. You know, like that's how we fell in love. Let's like try to be in the present, and he'll do that through like games, or he'll do that through levity. And I feel like she's in this movie, she's always been like, do we have to do that? Like she's so out of the present and like so just not who we saw, I think, in the first and second film.
And wrapped up in these like fake scenarios where he's like oppressing her. Like obviously we don't know what their home life is really like, or what the past 9 years have been like outside of like these,
Yeah.
24 hours, like really 8 hours of their relationship. But from these things, it seems like she just has this like some sort of like oppression almost that is being
Resentment.
forced on her. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like
the
not
one
sure where that's
moment
coming
that
from.
like that really, I think I was like, because there was a point in the film I did not watch this with my girlfriend, but I was like, I wonder like if I'm being unfair to her, and there was one moment when it was like right before they were supposed to bang, she got the phone call from
like,
his
"Don't answer
kid,
that
her
fucking phone."
stepson. Well, it's fine, but then she said good luck with your mom or something, and I thought Jesse was like, he was totally being reasonable, and he's like, listen, don't like talk about her like that. Like he's like, come on, like their discussion of his ex-wife, she was so unfair and so immature about. Like she was so immature,
Cunt, alcoholic
like
cunt.
yeah, like dude, it's like that's your stepson. Like you're not. Do you care about your stepson? Because you even thinking that she's an alcoholic cunt is gonna come out in negative ways to your stepson. Like you, and all Jesse was saying is like, listen, can we just like, he was just saying like, I wish you wouldn't do that. Like, or like, like maybe he's trying to forget about the situation with his mom. I wish you wouldn't bring it up. And she, not even for a moment, like entertained that as being an okay thought. She's like, what are you like? Maybe he has humor. Like she was just totally horrible about it for him. Like saying like, listen, I just like, I care about it. He cared about his son. And if she cared about him too, I don't think she'd react. I don't
It's
know.
a relationship that's always going to be in his life.
Yeah,
It's always, and you,
in your life too. You married Jesse.
yeah.
Like,
And it's behoove you to try and make that a smooth relationship so that there's not always friction.
But doesn't it seem natural? It seems like I've heard this conversation before.
Which is probably why
I
they're,
get,
yeah. They
Like,
probably have.
like from
Definitely.
from a third party, you're
Yeah.
saying, oh yeah, he should be more compromising here, and maybe she should be blah blah blah
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
But I think the cool part about it is that these are the things people argue about.
It's real. Yeah. I
like-
think like I don't have that relatability like being married, but like I can see that like with my parents, like there's like stress points where it's the same.
It's very clear
Thing.
to you, Grant,
You've
how to
heard
fix
this,
the
like,
problem.
Well, it's not even fixing. You're just like, and it lands on this again, and now we're here, and like something happened that like it was tough on everyone and like whatever, like, it doesn't even matter what it is. It's like, I don't even know if yeah, it's so realistic, I guess, is like, I think all the movies are, and that's what's really just like it's hard to fucking make 3 movies that are not only realistic but give you each one's a new perspective, and just like, wow, dude, that's life, man.
Hot take?
That's marriage. Yeah,
Third one's the best one.
I agree.
Hard to make a movie however many years after the fact of the first one and have it kind of, I don't know,
10 years later, same actors, but still.
I hated watching it, but I still think
Yeah.
it's the best one.
and not have it be like a cash grab, just like easy feel good
Yeah.
movie.
So
Opposite.
Jesse and
It's-
Celine are back on the train.
Exactly.
Where I have a quote.
It's their
on here
10th
where it's-
year anniversary, and they're
Yeah.
going back
They
to
f-
Vienna.
They finally see the cow play by the Germans.
And Jesse gets his palm read.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
Celine
have it
wins in
called
pinball.
out. I'm like, this is not a feel good movie.
Yeah. So I think that's like,
yeah.
it's almost like what the Patrick, the very wise author, was saying, who hosted them, where it's like more ambitious, as they go on. Because the first one, romantic drama, feel good, lovers on a train, one night stand kind of thing. Will they see each other again? Kind of easy, but I don't know. But then you follow that up with like 18 years later or whatever, same cast with like a troubled family life, but they're still trying. I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of like there was a lot of moments I think where she would leave and then come back. It was like so much push and pull, right? And like where I think at the end of the day, like it kind of showed me, or I thought the message was, it's like in marriage, it's like at the end of the day, you just can't really throw in the towel. You can't. I mean, it's really just like, are you going to give up?
Or you could.
Are you going to actually give up? And there's a moment where you think she does, and then she doesn't. And it's like I think marriage of it being about, like, I was actually talking about this with my mom. It's like the westernized view of true love marriages versus, like, let's say arranged marriages and maybe some Eastern cultures. It's like with arranged marriages, the perspective of going in it already is like, it's not about true love. It's about you're committed to make this work, And we were saying, like, I think Western marriages might start with like true love, but then at the end of the day, you end up where like you have to be committed to make it work. Like there's not going to be butterflies. Like you have to agree to yourself and your significant. This is the person, we're going to make it work. And if you guys can have that mindset, then it's going to work. It's going to be tough at times. It's going to be this fucking movie at times. But if you guys keep on coming back to each other because you are committed, like, that you will make this work, then it'll work. But it's not this true love westernized. It's not the fucking first movie.
Jesse was
all
trying
the
to make
time.
it work, though, and I feel like Celine wasn't.
She walked out.
Back,
No.
when
She
she
walked out so
came
many
back,
times.
she came back to yell at him more. And he went back to her. When she didn't come
Dude,
back,
he-
he
Funny
went to
time-
her.
That
He
Time
is the
Machine letter was
biggest
great.
man.
Yeah. But he,
What?
like, went to her with, like,
jokes.
to, like,
You
reel
gotta-
her back in.
Bro, even more than jokes. You know how hard it would be? Like,
Yeah.
that's like the biggest man kind of fucking job, dude. That's fucking tough to, like,
Swallow your pride. and give it
Dude,
one more-
I
he
don't,
She
know.
just
I don't
swallowed-
think he's swallowing his pride though.
He swallowed his pride, digested it, and pooped it out, dude. There's
Yeah.
No,
and
'cause-
then flushing it down the toilet.
Swallowing the pride would be all right. Yeah, we're not going to entertain any of these thoughts. He's making light of the situation and trying to be friendly, but I don't think it's swallowing his pride.
If he
in
didn't
any
do
way.
that, I think the marriage is over. Like he's putting, like, I think he's going all out, and like he's the one being vulnerable, and he's the one putting himself, like, she could have easily rejected him in that moment.
Yep.
And then he's the one fucking destroyed and floored, right? Like, I thought he was the only one oftentimes throughout the movie who's like being like, listen, okay. And then he would be vulnerable and he'd be like, listen, okay, let's like sit, and he says some shitty things too. Like, I think he said you like fucked up. He's like, you fucked up my whole life. I was like,
Mayor
yeah,
of Crazy Town.
Yeah, that's funny. Some zingers.
yeah, some really, yeah.
He's
Quinn.
starting it too. Like this is all. It all stems from him trying to push this idea that, hey, maybe we should go to America, and this happens in all relationships where, like,
He didn't
someone
say
is
that.
kind of
I think
following
he's-
the other person, and the
I think
person
he's
that's
allowed.
following
Okay, sorry.
the person that's following, there is a lot of risk and a lot of uncertainty, because then you start basing your whole life on another person, and I think it's
It's
not
really
good.
romantic that you have these views because I know your situation with Celia. It's like you are thinking through and making sure that's not a situation of yours, which is really romantic.
I think it's a
and
situation
great.
in every relationship.
I know,
But thank you,
but
Grant.
yeah, I think he should be able to think out loud because that's how I think I know what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know like like to solve his thought out loud, there's two options. Like if we were trying to solve his thought out loud, is like you move to Chicago or the son comes to Paris or whatever. But like I still think it should be a safe space with your significant other
To talk
to
about
literally just be processing shit and for them to not be negative, right? Like she was negative from the
Support.
start. Yeah, support. And then she already knows, and she said she knows that he's always like this for a month. So can't she just be kind and entertain him a little
friend
bit
for 2
for a month?
seconds.
Yeah, just a friend for 2 fucking seconds. And then in a month be like, listen, you said that and it like hurt me, or like it made me feel like you were disregarding my job. You know, like I mean, there's gotta be some give and take, you know? Like
He's given a lot.
yeah.
Yes, yeah. There's
But hey, at the end of the day, this discussion, I mean, we didn't talk this much like after we watched like Three Ninjas. I know it was close, but like we didn't talk. You know, it wasn't this passionate discussion about. Three
wasn't a
Ninjas.
lot of
So,
surprises or.
I don't know if that's like an indication of anything. But
Why did they pick a theme park?
Dude, what did Dave Dragon mean when his shirt exploded?
No, the movie's great. I like a couple other things. I like they had that other couple at the table and before midnight. They're like, yeah, we were in the same situation. Like, what did you do? They're like, oh, we just Skyped. Like,
Oh, yeah.
And we,
One thing I did notice too that was like cinematography is like the she mentioned that he ogles women.
yeah.
And then the young people come in and then they hold the shot on her walking away and then it cuts to Jesse. So like he
was
obviously was
watching her.
like, yeah,
out.
checking her out. And you're like, okay, yeah, so he ogles women. Like I just thought it was I mean they're all fucking great films. Like
It's a dude.
and
I mean,
the
he
long
definitely
takes.
cheats on her. Did she cheat on him?
Yeah.
With her ex when his mom died.
I couldn't really tell because like they didn't give her a lot of reaction. Like with him, he's getting grilled and he's like, "Are you asking me if I love you?" Yes.
It's like, am I committed?
Yes.
I'm like, bro.
Bro.
I think they both cheated on each other at least once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
Which is
yeah.
even more like I mean, you know, like admirable
Real.
in a way, or like it's dang, dude. Like,
Well, as a kid,
I
you're
think
like-
there's a lot of I think people in relationships that it's like you cheat, it's done. Like
No, I'd see
questions,
the
cut
opposite.
off.
I think when
Right?
if you're younger, if you're 20 something, you're like, oh, my girlfriend cheated on me. Yeah, fuck her. She's out. But I think after you hit this point where you have kids, you really got to think like, what do we do? It's not as clear. You can't just get up and leave. You got to think about your finances,
got
your
up and
kids,
left.
Dude, it's crazy. You
I mean,
know?
with the first, kid was.
you think about it, like
Well, sometimes you can, and it's worth it, and sometimes it's not. It's not as
Depends
easy.
how sweet the berry is.
But it is great. I mean, it's like in the last film, like you see her leave, and then even you're thinking like, she can't really leave.
Yeah,
like,
this is the end of the movie?
Like, where's she gonna go?
I checked the
Got her-
time.
and you just even think like, in this moment, she's got to go back to the kids at least. Like, there's no way she can just walk out and get a ticket and leave. There's no way in this moment. She at least has to be mature for 24 hours
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like get the kids, say goodbye, and then maybe they can leave the marriage. But like, you can't just be
walk
like,
away.
"Fuck you, bitch, I'm out."
I'm out.
Like,
Can't ghost them. No.
you can't ghost them. Wild.
So yeah, I think there are a lot of relationships where incidents like that happen, and then you just say, all right, well,
Maybe I'm naive.
the pros outweigh the cons, and we gotta deal with this. But obviously, it's not good.
We have to work on some things, Jesse. We have to work on some things.
Sweet. Am I committed to you? Yes. What else they got here? Oh yeah, no one uses the word Skype anymore. I was talking to Celia. I was trying to explain that used to be a big word like 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
FaceTime.
Like let's Skype.
Replaced it.
No one says
FaceTime
it.
replaced it.
Or just video chat now, or
FaceTime.
whatever. FaceTime.
FaceTime. That's what I said. FaceTime replaced it.
Apple.
But like, what if you're on your computer? Do you still say, "Hey man, let's FaceTime"?
Yeah.
I would say video chat. I wouldn't say Skype. Maybe Zoom is somewhere in there, but not Skype
Yeah, you're like, let's Zoom or something.
or something.
Yeah.
What,
that
hey,
covers
Google
all
Hangouts.
bases.
Even just like let's call. I feel like the
Let's
video
set
is
up a
almost
time.
associated.
Yeah, let's call.
Video call.
Yeah.
I don't ever say video call.
You're using buzzwords.
Video call? Hey, Patrick, would you like to video call with me
I only video chat.
on
Video-
my personal computer?
Let's call.
You mean your PC, brother?
Give me a call and turn your video on, please.
VC on my PC.
Video on.
I have one note that I want to bring up.
Yeah.
That I said she is out of, she was not in the moment. Dude, when they were watching the sunset, and she kept on being like, still there. Still there. I'd be like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Watch this fucking sunset. Like, still there.
Still there.
I'm like, you're not enjoying this, obviously, but you know how to make everyone suffer. Still there.
I feel like it was something they do. I don't know.
Maybe. I
They
did
kind of
not. I
talk
was like,
to extend
shut
the moment
up.
with
Maybe.
Jesse, like, oh, let's walk or let's take a cab. They're just trying to.
That's true. I guess the sun. Oh, maybe like it was a callback to the other movies, like the sun setting, like sun before sunset.
Bit of a
I-
stretch, but maybe.
I don't know.
I don't remember the scene.
I
too
was
well, to be
annoyed
honest.
in the moment.
Who looked more older? Do you think?
She did.
I thought he looked a lot older in the second film, and they both looked pretty much the same age. Maybe her a little bit older in the third.
The second one, he looked like he was going through some like
Dude,
withdrawals or something.
Dude,
Cocaine,
both-
book writer, stand
I mean,
up.
a little. His hair was a little bit better and before midnight, but I'm like, dude, fucking just like go and like get a
Fix
style.
it.
You're a fucking professional actor. Like, maybe they did that to like for real. You know, it's more realistic. Like some fucking.
Oh, I
dude
don't
with
think
a
that's
bad
what
haircut.
Ethan Hawke looks
Yeah,
like.
I think it was just because of like his
Thought it was the role.
messy
Okay.
writer persona.
Yeah,
I
he's
was
got a
like,
full
dude,
head of hair. It seems.
I like style your hair a little bit better, please.
No, I think that was deliberate.
Okay.
Yeah, look up the movie Gattaca. That was the movie I saw on him, and he
Oh,
looks
yeah, dude, his hair looks pretty.
he looks
pretty
very
good.
professional, very corporate.
He'll sell me something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was laughing a lot too with Before Midnight. He was reading out that time machine letter. I thought that was pretty clever and enjoyable and a nice way to end things. Because I didn't know if they were going to end it on a good note. I could have totally saw it like she walks out and maybe they say like a couple words or something that there's some ambiguity, but it seemed to end on a very hopeful and uplifting note.
Why don't you think they're doing a fourth? Mr.
I
Flynn?
don't think they're doing a fourth because I don't know if there's another story to tell besides the very elderly aspect of it, like someone's dying.
I think this film was like it wasn't the resolution, but it was the realization that marriage is not all true love and butterflies. And so I could see a fourth being them really settling into that and her really coming to terms that I mean, dude, she's straight up like, even at the end, like, I thought she was pretty miserable. Like, I think she needs 9 years to kind of like settle into things, you know?
I
And-
don't, I don't think you ever get out of it. I think this is it.
okay. I mean, it's
In
possible.
my, yeah.
It's isn't it coming up like on?
Yeah, I don't think from my quick googling, I don't think it's in development or anything.
I don't know, things happening.
I guess you'll hear it here first. It would just be more
Of the same.
of the same, because then if it's kind of more lovey-dovey, then it's more like the first one.
Empty
you're just
nesters.
older, empty. Yeah, maybe they have kids and they leave. I think there might be some story to tell with one of them is sick, children are coming home, interactions there, talking about things. Yes, Grant?
Del B said
Who's
in
Del B?
June 20, the actress, in 2021, she turned down going ahead with the sequel, later clarifying that with the three of us, we agreed we couldn't come up with something good for a fourth one. It was an idea none of us liked. That was the end of it.
So there won't be a fourth one.
My parents have not seen these films, and I was like, dude, I think these are the best romance films I've seen, which maybe before we start talking about that, like,
So, yeah, closing thoughts, notes, funny lines.
Mayor
Still
of
there.
Crazy Town.
You're a fucking American. I don't know why that one sticks out. You just said it very direct.
he said, I've
'Cause
fucked
she's
up my whole
nuts.
life for the way you sing. That's what he said. He's like, I
It's
fucked
true.
up my whole life because the way you sing. You're like,
I even thought after finishing Before Midnight, I was like, would there be a way to just have it like two movies? Like, could it just be Before Sunrise and Before Midnight?
you don't like Before Sunset.
No, I liked it, and I think
I
it's
don't think so.
necessary.
It's necessary for the book thing. For the
Yeah,
author
there are a
book.
lot of things that probably wouldn't
Yeah.
make sense, and it was definitely needed. But that
And
was-
you would just assume the relationship is smooth without it, you know? Like, how does the
Imagine
kid
if it's
and
in
the ex-wife
before-
kind of come in? You
I
know?
was imagining kind of more like a reveal, like, oh, they're all grown up, they're together now, and because they met at the train station, and then it's like, oh fuck, they didn't meet at the train station, he left his wife, all this kind of shit. But that's my fan fiction.
You would
I
need
think-
some sort of, like, speed run of Before Sunset in, like, a
Yeah,
dream.
I think you need like, I could see you changing when Before Sunset takes place and like have it take place like 6 months later as well. You know, when they're like in a honeymoon phase again, you know, like them in Paris, they're in honeymoons, you're like, what? And then like you're like, he's in the process of leaving his wife for her or something. You're like, wait, how did he get a wife? You know?
What
would you
I
almost
think
say,
that's too
man?
much plot. That's too much plot for these movies. These movies
Yeah.
are like,
interpersonal
Wife
dialogue.
know it's a real person
Yeah.
in the book?
Yeah, definitely, dude. Hates her. Hates her.
Well, I mean,
Wait,
of
say
course
again?
now she knows, but did she at the time when he's
Oh.
when he's writing
She
the first
has
book?
to.
Dude.
She has to.
And then he
dude.
says, "Hey, guess what? I
no,
met that
I
girl."
don't think so.
I don't think you
No,
would tell
I
your
think
wife.
I think he is like this is his first novel. It's like best novel, and she's like, what?
Wow,
and then he's
wonderful.
just like, oh, I'm a romantic. You know, like I don't know. I'm just writing about like something like if like maybe what if. You know,
she
like
has
just
to know.
And he goes, honey, I got some news."
you know that what if book.
Yeah.
It's a what is book. I'm leaving you for this
You're
bitch.
out. That's terrible.
It's
Really.
more of a when.
Hopefully,
I could see
just
you
think-
become an alcohol. Like I don't know. It's like that's heart. That's gut wrenching, dude.
Yeah, hopefully the ex-wife's feelings were mutual, but if they aren't, like, that's terrible, man. She's like in love with him.
As a kid,
I mean, as a kid. Oh, has a kid.
as
yes.
a kid with him,
Fuck, dude. You don't. Yeah.
dude. I bet like imagine like she's supporting him through the whole time. Like he's writing the book, Like, no, you got
Not
this.
making
You
any
know,
money.
like love you, honey. Yeah, like you got this bestseller. You know, you're reading. Like even her reading is like probably makes her a little bit uncomfortable because it's not really about her. And then he leaves her.
What if they honeymooned in fucking Vienna and like banged in that park and she thinks the book's about herself?
Like, of course the relationship isn't gonna be good. Like, it's gonna be terrible. They're gonna fucking hate each other. So I don't know. It's tough, man.
Stuff.
Just picture it. All right, it's about that time coming up. The G&Q patented review, where we decide whether the true rating of both Before Sunset and Before Midnight is over or under the IMDb rating. And we got a lot of votes. 250K for Before Sunset.
Wow. Okay.
150K for Before Midnight. And we have 8.1 for Before Sunset and 7.9 for Before Midnight.
All right, I'll just do both. I think they're both over. I think Before Midnight is over Before Sunset, or should be, in my opinion. I'm assuming Before Midnight just didn't make the top 250, right? It's probably because I think it's like 8.0 and up. But in terms of like our discussion, our passion, like, how often do you actually really talk about relationships once you watch like any romantic
That's
movie?
right.
Like normally you watch a romantic movie, you're like, yeah, it was cute. Like
cute,
there's
yeah,
nothing to
the
fucking
girl's
talk about.
really hot.
Like there's no relationship shit. It's just fucking fluff. You know, it's some bullshit fairy tale. You know, it fuels why relationships go wrong. You know, it's just some like bad standards, some fairy tale, unrealistic nonsense. You know, some entertainment. While these are like the Raw is my favorite. I would almost call it like the only real like romances that I've seen. I'm not a romance expert, so take that with a grain of salt. But if someone's like, I want to watch like a real romantic drama, I'd be like, it's not even a drama. It's just like, I don't know, dude. It's
a
a slice of
romance
life.
film.
It's like fucking. It's some real fucking relationship shit. It's like you're almost a therapist.
I'd call it, yeah, the first one's definitely, I'd call it a
Yeah,
romance film.
definitely.
And then you get into these spin-offs, or not even spin-offs, but sequels where it's still about romance, but they're not your typical romance.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I think you have to give up on romance and find a part and like come to terms that they're a partner.
It's a real-life film. It's
It's a real life film.
different R.
But I'm going over for both. What about you, Pat?
Over for both as well. Same sentiment with Midnight over Sunset. And I'd go over for the Sunrise as well, just because it's not.
Oh yeah,
I haven't voted on
part
that
of
one
it.
yet.
What's that, Quinn?
It's 8-1 as well.
8-1.
8-1, 8-1, 7-9.
Okay.
Midnight's 5-23.
Yeah, I mean, you watch Before Sunrise, you're like feeling good.
Yeah.
Your
Feel
heart's
hopeful.
like all giddy. You're like,
Giddy, yeah.
oh, it's magical.
Yeah.
Because you would even think, I'm gonna go both over as well.
Yeah.
But after Before Sunrise, if you were talking about making a second film, that would be very difficult, I think, because part of the first movie's attraction, allure, is kind of a mystery. Because he talks about it in the beginning of the second film, like, if you're a romantic, you think they get together. If you're a cynic, they don't get together. And then you actually make a movie saying, oh, this is what happened. And
He showed up and she did it.
like, we're going to have to expand upon that.
Yeah.
So, all overs, everything. Go watch Before everything, Before Trilogy. Great films.
Does a trilogy have a name?
Just,
The
I think
Before
people call it
trilogy.
the Before Trilogy.
Okay.
And that's all we got. What are we watching next week, Grant?
Well, in between this 3-week hiatus of sorts, it was my birthday. I'm now 26, off of my parents' insurance.
That happens immediately too, right?
Yeah, they like, yeah. Happens immediately.
It's not like at the end of the
but
year, but yeah, okay.
I have shared, I think, before on this podcast, and before with, my good friends Quinn and Patrick, that for the past few years on my birthday, I haven't done it yet, but on my birthday, I watch a film, a nice feel good film. It's not like before midnight. I watch it and I'm like, that'll do, donkey. That'll do. We are watching Shrek next week.
Is this in the top 250?
2001 classic. Huh?
Is it in the top 250? No.
No.
840.
Should be.
It's close. 7-9.
It's
Oh,
not.
dude. It's iconic, bro.
I thought
Let's-
it'd have a chance. It's 840.
840.
Like top 8. Does it top 1,000 or something?
There's just a ranking, right? Popularity 840.
I don't know.
That may be like current popularity. That's in IMDb.
Once upon a time, in a faraway swamp, there lived an ogre named Shrek, whose precious solitude is suddenly shattered by an invasion of annoying fairy tale characters. They were all banished from their kingdom by the evil Lord Farquaad. Determined to save their home, not to mention his, Shrek cuts a deal with Farquaad and sets out to rescue Princess Fiona to be Farquaad's bride. Rescuing the princess may be small compared to her deep, dark secret. Shrek!
Shrek, I'm excited.
Somebody once told me the world. That's the opening credits, guys. It's so good. I'm sorry, I'm spoiling.
As you can tell, Grant's excited. I'm excited too. I think Patrick's excited. And we're all excited.
I'm excited. So,
Why do you watch it on your birthday, Grant, if you don't mind sharing?
I don't know. It's like I think I was having a birthday and I was like, there's nothing to do. And I was like, I think I saw Shrek I thought of Shrek and it was like on Hulu. I was like, okay. And then I watched Shrek 2 and I was like, that's fun. And it's also kind of like memey at this point, And it's like you do it on your birthday. You're like, why not? Why not
Okay.
do some Shrek?
Okay. It is just, it's American culture at this point.
It
You
is.
sing
I
that
think
song, and it's just
it's
like,
iconic.
I bet like 8 out of 10 people would sing it, Like you
Yeah.
start it, they would.
And you like forget, like, dude, that's like thrown in. It's like, Shrek.
Donkey, what are we having for breakfast?
Dude, the opening credits. I don't want to spoil it too much. We'll talk about it. But, like,
Okay.
I can already see. I've seen the movie so many times.
You're watching it
Anyway,
right
I'm
now.
watching it. All right. Any last words?
Nope.
Thank you all for listening. For our discussion of the Before trilogy. We kind of accidentally stumbled into a trilogy. Look at us, guys. Like that is a podcast. That's a pro podcast move right there. Just stumble in a trilogy, review it, no problem. I think we overwhelmingly positive on the Before trilogy. Check it out. Next week we are doing Shrek. In the meantime, you can send us an email at feedback at gqreview.com. You can send us, maybe your favorite romance film. Maybe you got something that tops this. I would be very curious. You can also follow us on our social media at GQ Review. That is our Instagram and our Twitter. And that's it. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you next week with Shrek.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.